Hello and welcome to the recording for practicing the official sample paper 1 for the Monitoring and Event Management Practice certification. Firstly, about One World Training. We are a global training business simulation and training company having offices in the USA, the UK, the Netherlands, India, Malaysia, UAE, South Africa, and many other countries globally. We provide training in IT, business management, project management, ISO standards, GDPR, and many other trainings for individuals as well as organizations. We deliver our courses in 5 different ways: public classroom based, or it can be online from home or work for you. It can also be e-learning. And we also have a blended mix of e-learning plus our support for you, or finally at the user's location on site, that is both for private and government organizations. We are authorized by several leading global professional bodies, and some of those logos and training or certifications are shown below on this slide. Let me explain to you a bit about the exam. The real exam consists of 20 questions. It's a 30-minute exam. If you're writing the exam in a language other than your spoken language, you get 8 minutes additional, which is 25% additional time. It's a closed book. There is no negative marking. All questions are multiple choice. You need to pick up one from the 4 options. We have 2 official papers. This is the recording for paper 1. We also have a separate recording for the official paper 2. We also have the same question papers in an online simulation available for you as well using a timer. You can even download these official question papers and their answer sheets in the PDF formats from your e-learning. So let's begin practicing the 20 questions. The first question: what defines how event management messages will be processed and evaluated? A, event correlation; B, a rule set; C, a health model; or D, a monitoring action plan. I will pause for a few moments for you to think before I explain the answer. This is somewhat a straightforward question. It's about how the event messages will be processed and evaluated. It'll be based on certain needs, certain requirements. Therefore, my first impression here is it could be the rule set, but let's rule out the others and check them as well. Option A, event correlation. In fact, an event correlation is done when an event occurs and it will be correlated with the previously generated event or a set of events. But this is about processing a single event message. Therefore, it will not be event correlation. Option B, rule set. Yeah, rule set means there will be several rules that define how the event messages for a particular event will be processed and evaluated. So B would be correct. Option C, a health model. These are for the monitoring team by which they can assess user experience of the service, meaning users expect services to run and behave in a certain way. And therefore, the health model will define what the user's experience expectations are of the service, therefore what needs to be monitored. So it would not be C, because it is about how the message will be processed and evaluated. Option D, a monitoring action plan. In fact, there will be an action plan for each event or a set of events to minimize the negative impact of events. But it's about for each event, we need to have a rule set first of all to define how the event messages for a particular event will be processed and evaluated. See the difference with option D there. A monitoring action plan is a complete action plan to minimize the negative impact of an event or a set of events. So that's a subtle difference between the two. Question number 2, which is an input to the event handling process? A, service health criteria; B, service catalog; C, monitoring action plan; or D, service performance thresholds. You might recollect there are several processes. There are 2 processes in this practice, and there is also a third so-called process, which is a set of review activities. Those activities need not be done in a certain sequence. Therefore, we don't call that process as such. It's a collection of activities named as a process. And event handling is one of them. For this, you need to recollect the inputs to this process. And the answer to this will be best arrived at by recollecting from our memory and understanding that it'll be the monitoring plan, not the service health criteria, service catalog, or the service performance thresholds. All of them will definitely go into the monitoring plan, but the monitoring plan will be the input to the event handling process. Let's also check this out in the practice guide. I'm just going to bring up the practice guide for you here. So I'm here in my local copy of the practice guide in my bookshelf app. You can also view the practice guide via your PeopleCert account. You need to be connected then. And the exam voucher code that we give you will allow you to access this practice guide through your PeopleCert login or by having it on your bookshelf app locally as well. There is a separate recording explaining how to set that up, because the voucher code is also used for booking your exam. So we have a separate recording to explain all this for you. So here we have the event handling process. And if you notice here, we got two inputs: notifications from monitoring objects and tools, and the monitoring plan. Therefore, that's why we can conclude that a monitoring plan is the correct answer. Let's move on to question number 3. Which of the following is not a benefit of the monitoring and event management practice? A, early warnings of IT service interruption. B, a reduction in the cost of managing outages. C, ability to hide dependencies that impact value stream performance. Or D, better understanding of service health. This question should be rather easy because it's a benefit question of the practice. We need to find the odd one out. Option A is definitely a benefit. Option B as well, and option D as well. So C would be the answer. That is not a benefit. In fact, it is the opposite of the benefit. It is not about hiding dependencies, but about exposing the dependencies. So let's move forward. Question number 4. How can partners and suppliers support the monitoring and event management practice? A, by building event generation capabilities into their product's operating system. B, by defining which informational events require immediate action. C, by benchmarking service performance against SLA agreed with customers. Or D, by providing incident management tools. So let's try to see which one is correct here. A seems to be the correct one because partners and suppliers can build event generation capabilities into their product's operating system. In fact, most suppliers will build extensive such capabilities into their product's operating system. And but let's check out B. B is about informational events. They do not require immediate action. So therefore, in fact, at the time they are identified, they will not need action, but eventually they may become warning or instructional or exception, and then an action will be needed. So in case of warning, an action may be needed. And similarly, C, by benchmarking. Now, C is also incorrect. This benchmarking is done by the practice, not the suppliers. And the incident management, the last option is from the incident management practice, not from this practice. Therefore, the correct answer would be option A. Now, option C, to elaborate that further, the reporting aspect of this practice enables the ground truth with respect to a service provider's actual performance and behavior when benchmarked against the standards in the original service design and in the SLAs agreed with the customers. The next question, an organization is implementing a new service configuration management system. How will monitoring and event management practice benefit from it? A, the system will support collaboration between teams. B, the system will help to manage event triggered tasks. C, the system will help to assess impact of events. Or D, the system will support practice measurement and reporting. So which one will it be? So let's take a look at the practice guide to recollect. So even though the correct answer here is known, it'll be the third one. The system will help to assess impact of events, because the service configuration management can be useful to understand which service components or CIs are being impacted, and therefore C will be valid. And for option A, we need the workflow and collaboration tool. And then the same for the option B as well. And for the option D, we need the measurement and reporting tools. And this is made more clear in the practice guide. So let's take a look at the practice guide. And it'll be found in the section on automation and tooling. If we notice table 5.1, automation solutions for this practice. And if you notice here, for the correct answer, service configuration management tools, the middle entry, event correlation, and impact assessment. So the question had this impact phrase in it. Whereas if you notice the workflow and collaboration, we see the couple of other options there, such as the event triggered records and tasks, and also the support of collaboration. And if you notice the analysis and reporting, we see there the practice measurement and reporting. So therefore, it's made very clear from the practice guide that the correct answer is C. The next question, a service manager is mapping value streams to help them ensure that monitoring and event management activities are effective. At what stage in this exercise should the manager first engage with the key stakeholders? A, during the scoping stage to ensure that expectations are understood. B, during the service value stream walk to ensure that everybody's contributions are understood. C, during workflow evaluation to ensure the impact on the business is taken into account. Or during D, during reflection and planning to ensure that monitoring is optimized for business value. You might recollect the various steps in the value stream analysis. The first step is the option A here. In the scoping step, these key stakeholders are identified using the information of the monitoring and event, and their expectations of the stakeholders are also understood. So this is where the stakeholders are engaged with. Therefore, A is the likely answer. Let's check out the others. Option B, during the service value stream walk. This happens much later on. In fact, after option A is done, the next step is to understand the purpose of the value stream from a business perspective. And after that, only the service value stream walk is performed, as in B, wherein the value stream steps are evaluated for the information and what activities they perform, and also the step capabilities, performance, etc. are evaluated, and then the current or as is value stream map is created. So B is much further. And afterwards, the next step, so C is part of the B. And after B is done along with C, the next step is to reflect on the value stream, which means to get more information and identify the possible waste. And afterwards, it's about creating or defining the to-be value stream map. And based on the to-be value stream map, to perform the improvements. So option D is coming much later on. It is the value stream reflection, in which the waste is identified. and the value is maximized. So the lean technique is used in that step. Therefore, option A will be the correct answer. Question 7. Which of the following is a correct statement about active monitoring in the context of monitoring and event management practice? A. Active monitoring takes place only when an event occurs. B. In active monitoring, CIs report the event when it occurs. C. Active monitoring takes place whether an event has occurred or not. D. Active monitoring takes place when a defined set of conditions have been met. You need to recollect or differentiate between passive and active monitoring, because some of the entries here are about passive monitoring. So option A would be incorrect, because option A is about passive monitoring. In passive monitoring, which is in real time or close to real time, but it is done only when an event occurs or a defined set of conditions have been met. Option B, active monitoring, CIs report the event when it occurs. This is also incorrect. This is also defining passive monitoring, because in passive monitoring, the CIs configuration items will report the event when it occurs. Whereas option C is correct for the active monitoring. It takes place whether an event has occurred or not. So, and then option D is again about passive monitoring. When a certain defined set of conditions have been met and an event is generated, that is more passive monitoring and event management. So in the active, it is just continuous monitoring irrespective of any conditions being met or not. Generally, this is done for mission critical systems just to check the health of the system or for other reasons. So C would be correct.